minutes, get the guts and them gones.
Hey man, I got a favor to ask of you. All right, here's what the favor is.
I do think, though, hip-hop is in trouble.
I have recently been deleting every rap song from my playlist on Spotify, which is where I listen to my music.
We don't want to hear how you can pop your cat, pop your cat. We don't want to hear that.
Rap is an art form. You are supposed to be saying something. When I hear y'all music, y'all don't be saying nothing.
Rap is cool and all, but it's getting outplayed, bro. They talk about hoes, money, killing. Bro, I don't want to hear that every day, bro.
I think that the popular sound is moving away from hip hop.
It's called Kissing You. It's about wanting to be with somebody so bad that it's just like kissing you is more than enough. And she took that and made pop that.
I played for a month without rap. I realized my thinking was becoming more shallow. I realized my feelings were becoming more irritable.
I am tired. I have a simple question. Is rap music dying or is the music industry dying? All right, sound good?
Number 29.
You are about to watch an opinion-based podcast. This episode is not meant to be facts. It is only the opinion of the host. The host lists all references with links in the box below. Again, this is only the opinion of the host.
He's here. He's here. Broadcasting somewhere in Northern California.
In the bowel, right to the belly of the beast.
Inside his command post. Somewhere in the brick and steel of a nondescript building. We have made contact with him. Don Rob from Don Rob Flixx.
Thank you for coming again, you guys. If you're here on audio only, you know the drill, man. Make sure that you do me a favor and add me to your playlist. It really helps me on all the algos out there, you know, from Spotify and all the different ones, you know, Apple, everybody. And if you're here on YouTube or Rumble, please make sure you subscribe. It means a lot to me, and hit the notification button so you know when I'm about to drop something new. But I got to make a drink before we get into what we're going to be talking about. Today, I mean, you know, it's that time of year, so eggnog with some Captain Morgan. You know what? Before I do that, so the question was, is rap music dying off, or is the music industry in general dying off? And the simple answer is yes and no. Yes to one, no to the other. Which one do you think it is? And to be straight up real with you, it started when this right here happened. Labels gouged fans with 16, 17, $20 CDs, album sales plunged, and independent record stores began closing at an alarming rate. In 2001, music sales fell for only the third time in 20 years. For the first time since 1966, no release sold over 5 million copies. Sales fell 2.5% in 2001 and 6.8% in 2002. And from 2006 to 2007, album sales went down 20%. But after the year 2000, people decided they didn't want to buy so many CDs anymore. They didn't want to shop at independent record stores. They didn't want to listen to the radio. And they sure as hell had enough of the major labels, pushing them around because one force would let them sidestep it all.
From the first phonograph to the newest compact disc players, technology has long helped drive the music industry. Now the latest advance, called MP3, comes via the internet.
What we are is just, four guys in San Diego, computer guys, who are, giving a shot at the music business.
Robertson runs a website called mp3.com, named for a technology that makes it possible to record and distribute music with the click of a mouse. Unlike a regular record company, mp3.com gives artists a higher percentage of the profits and total control over their music.
I could get to my fans immediately. It was fun, exciting, and I think there's a lot of that's being taken out of rock and roll.
So the thought was, it'll be easier for the fan and the artist to connect. And the artist will make, all their own profits. But of course not. The internet moves too quick, you guys.
Troubles over copyright infringement aren't slowing down Napster. The song-swapping company is now in the top 50 list of most visited sites on the web, according to Media Metrics.
The year is 1999, and the internet is still a relatively new frontier for most people. Enter Napster, a revolutionary file-sharing platform that became synonymous with the digital music revolution. To some, it was a beacon of free expression and access to art. But to others, it represented copyright infringement on an unprecedented scale. Whichever side you were on, it was very likely. If you were into music in the late 1990s and early 2000s, you had heard of or were using Napster. It was a force that took the internet by storm, especially with young people. In 1999, the digital world was about to be revolutionized by a teenager named Sean Fanning. With his peer-to-peer P2P file sharing program, Napster, Fanning unleashed a service that would shake the music industry to its core. The concept of Napster emerged from Fanning's frustration with the difficulty of finding reliable sources for downloading music online. Each search was a gamble, often leading to corrupt files or slow connections. Envisioning a solution, Fanning and Sean Parker, a friend and future business partner, embarked on creating a platform that centralized the file sharing process. Napster was born. Napster's debut was nothing short of revolutionary. For the first time, users had a simple, reliable means of downloading music files from one another's hard drives. The service, which allowed users to easily share their MP3 collections, was a hit especially among college students. Its user-friendly interface, combined with the thrill of accessing an extensive range of music, created an immediate allure. Napster wasn't just a program. It was a community where music enthusiasts converged. However, with this radical innovation came challenges. Napster operated on the principle of sharing music freely, which opened the Pandora's box of legal and ethical issues. While users celebrated unlimited access to music, artists and record labels grew concerned, as their traditional revenue streams came under threat. From its inception, Napster was a maverick. Its groundbreaking journey started with the ambition of a teenager, evolving into a global phenomenon that redefined our relationship with music and the internet, though it was a harbinger of controversy, transforming the way music was consumed and shared. Its influence was pivotal, setting the stage for a digital music revolution. As the platform soared in popularity, it inadvertently set the stage for an impending clash that would challenge the foundations of copyright law, intellectual property, and the music industry's revenue structure. The service, celebrated by millions for its free and unrestricted access to music, soon found itself in the crosshairs of various industry stakeholders, record companies witnessing a dramatic dip in traditional sales, and foreseeing the potential economic repercussions of such a platform. This confrontation wasn't just a clash of new technology against old norms. It was a battle that questioned the very foundations of intellectual property rights in the emerging digital landscape. Spearheaded by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA, the assault on Napster began in 1999. The RIAA filed a high-profile lawsuit against the company, accusing it of copyright infringement on a colossal scale. This legal action marked the onset of a series of battles that would embroil Napster in the courts for the next few years. The anti-Napster campaign wasn't restricted to corporate boardrooms. It extended to artists, whose works were the very currency being traded on the platform. The case of Napster is a pivotal piece of modern cultural history, encapsulating the challenges of adapting to technological innovation in a world of established commercial frameworks. Despite its relatively short-lived dominance, Napster's legacy is profound and far-reaching. Its footprint extends beyond just the realm of music and serves as a pivotal reference point in the broader digital evolution. Napster's demise was a clear sign to the music industry that the digital era was not a passing phase. The demand for digital music access was undeniable. This paved the way for legitimate digital platforms like iTunes, which offered a vast music library for purchase on a per-track basis. Similarly, streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and Pandora owe a conceptual debt to Napster. They provide vast access to music libraries, but with the blessing of the music industry and appropriate compensation for artists. The debates around Napster brought copyright discussions to the forefront. In the internet age, It compelled lawmakers, industry leaders, and tech giants to reconsider how intellectual property rights should be approached in a digital environment. This led to more rigorous discussions on digital rights management, DRM, and the establishment of more contemporary copyright frameworks. While major labels and established artists were Napster's loudest critics, many independent musicians found it to be a boon. The platform offered an unparalleled opportunity to distribute their music to a global audience, bypassing traditional gatekeepers. This democratization of music distribution was a precursor to platforms like SoundCloud and Bandcamp, where independent artists can share their creations and build their fan base. Napster introduced consumers to the concept of immediate gratification and music access. This has since become a staple expectation in the digital realm. Whether it's music, movies, or any form of entertainment, the desire for on-demand content can be traced back to the file-sharing days of Napster.
So the music business won in court, and the music industry was saved. No more illegal downloads, right? No more free streaming. And then
So last year, the Recording Industry Association of America settled with file-sharing program LimeWire for $105 million.
There's a cultural gap that the music industry says it's stealing, but internet users feel this is a kindergarten ethic of sharing with friends.
There's no such thing as a free lunch or a free song. Every time something is free, somebody loses a job.
There are 26,000 lawsuits that have been filed so far.
A college student who admitted downloading and sharing music with his friends just got hit with a staggering verdict of $675,000.
I don't have that. I was ready to declare bankruptcy.
I mean, the only people making money here are the lawyers. The RIA is losing customers.
And the industry's just resisting, whereas the market and consumers have already gone on to this new platform.
LimeWire. LimeWire.
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
All of these offenders are accessing child pornography on LimeWire.
It's really convenient. Anybody can download it. It's free and it's immediate.
Investigators here say they have more than a dozen other investigations underway involving LimeWire and child pornography, and they expect that number to grow.
that number didn't grow because they shut LimeWire down. But you know what did grow? And not because they shut LimeWire down, but this right here.
It's an extremely sad day for all of us. It's probably the hardest day I've ever spent at a job. We're closing up our doors at 9 tonight. We're selling everything at 30% right now. Starting tomorrow, we'll come in, we'll start packing everything up. You've got a whole generation of people now that download as a normal part of, you know, acquiring music as opposed to going to stores and buying it. It's not the same sort of culture back when, you know, when I was in my teens, early 20s, where you went to record stores and you bought stuff, you know? I think there's always going to be record stores.
Let's hear him say that again.
There's always going to be record stores.
That's what we all thought. No way the record store could die, but it did. We didn't think it ever would, though. Of course, with the combination of this, you know.
This is Daniel Ek, founder of Spotify. It was clear that now this peer-to-peer technology was out there. The music industry wasn't going to be able to stop online file sharing, so Daniel figured the solution was to create a new service that was even better than Napster, but that allowed musicians and record labels to earn money from their music. Daniel envisioned a platform where you could access all of the world's music instantly, and that it would be legal because it would be funded with ads. And a percentage of the ad revenue would go to the artist, and bam, the initial idea for Spotify was born. Daniel originally wanted to build a free library of music, funded by ads, but now, Daniel describes the company as a technology-driven layer between fans and artists. He sees it as a two-sided marketplace, where Spotify gain revenue from both listeners and artists themselves. Listeners pay for access to music. Artists pay to reach their fans. For example, labels are now paying Spotify for inclusion in playlists and paying more money for higher rankings in those playlists. Spotify are also allowing musicians to promote their merch and ticket sales through Spotify. Basically, Spotify moved from being just a distributor of music to a platform that controls the music. In fact, in 2017, Billboard named Daniel Ek as the most powerful person in the music business.
And then, the birth of a, true independence really happened for all the artists. digital music distributors like CD Baby being first and TuneCore arriving in early 2000s around 05, DistroKid around 2013 to help independent artists get music online, with CD Baby being an older model, TuneCore focusing on annual fees with 100% royalties, and DistroKid, making it popular, on limited yearly plans, while United Masters, who recently emerged, offers artist services, funding alongside distribution, all changing the game, doing things that only the big labels did. So, man, that tastes good. Eggnog and Captain Morgan. Spicy rum. It's a good holiday drink.
Yes, you read that title correctly. Spotify is ruining the entire music industry. I know, that sounds dramatic, like, Zach, how can a music streaming app ruin the entire music industry? But after doing extensive research, digging into Spotify's financials, scouring articles, combing through shareholder meetings, and even reading an entire book, I want to scream. Spotify's entire business model isn't just broken, it's manipulative, exploitative, and quietly reshaping the music industry for the worse.
It is, but I agree. Spotify has a problem, but is it really because of Spotify, you guys? Is it? I think they don't help, but they aren't the reason, things are changing. And if it wasn't them, if they weren't the ones underpaying, ask yourself, who else would it be? Really, who else would it be? It'd be one of the others. Yeah, I mean, they're not the only one doing digital distribution. You got Apple, you got Google. I mean, someone else would be, doing the same fucking thing. Trust me. I don't think it's that. Just my opinion. To really understand my point of view and final conclusion to the end, to this question, I asked at the beginning, is rap music dying? Is the music industry dying? Let's watch this for a minute.
I am going to assume that there are some music fans in the audience, right? Okay. So I have a bit of a rant that we're going to go on here, and it should be of interest to anybody who listens to music.
If you listen to, music, stay here. If you're a recording artist, make sure you stay here. It's important. Grab some popcorn and a drink, maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, man. But let's watch this guy. You're going to learn something. Look, I've been in the music business for over 20 years, man. I manage a legendary recording artist. I'm not trying to brag, but I do. I've been a road manager. I've been a producer. I've been an executive producer. I've been, you name it, man, a videographer. We could just keep going, man. But none of that means shit. Let's watch this let's learn music from the beginning. And then we'll get into my professional take.
In this, we can talk about containers. Now, this is the first container that we ever stored music in. Up until Thomas Edison came along with his wax cylinder, music was effervescent. It was there and then it wasn't. There was no way to store music for later analysis, later enjoyment, later study. But with this, we began to see music preserved for future generations. Now, before then, a song could be a couple of rhymes that you started off in the pub. It could be a folk ballad, which went on for as many verses as it took to tell the story. It could be a symphony, which could go on for an hour or more. The Greek national anthem has 158 verses. So the music was flexible. It was like a gas in the air. There was no container for it. But with the Edison cylinder, it had a container. And that container could hold 2 minutes worth of music. If you wanted to be a recording artist after 1877, your music had to conform to the size and shape of the container, which meant a 2-minute song. Okay, so for the first time, there is a time limit on music. Then, around 1900, a guy by the name of Emil Berliner came up with the idea of taking some of Edison's principles and applying them to a rotating flat disc. And after a couple of years, everything standardized into a 10-inch disc that ran at 78 RPM with grooves cut so far apart. The math and the geometry tells us that if we use those standards, we can get between 3 and 4 minutes of music before we have an interruption, before we have to get up, change the record, turn it over. 3 or 4 minutes. That's the size of our container. And for the next 50 years, the 78 RPM record became the thing that standardized our appetite for popular music. We began to expect songs that were 3 or 4 minutes. But then in 1948, Columbia Records introduced something they called the 33 1/3 long-playing vinyl record. By making the record bigger, by cutting the grooves closer together, and by slowing down how fast the record turned, down from 78 to 33 1/3, they found that they could get 20 to 22 minutes of music on a side of a record before they had to get up and turn it over. So for the first time ever, we had this really long interval where we could just sit back and listen to music. The container got bigger. And this led to an explosion in interest in longer forms of music. For example, a symphony. You could get a movement of a symphony quite comfortably on one side of an LP. If you were into Broadway show tunes, you could get a lot of music from that show on one side of an LP. So we expanded the music to fit the available space on the container. Now, in the 1960s, this got even bigger. Starting in about 1965, artists began to realize that they had this huge palette that they could fill. And we ended up with wonderful albums from the Beatles and Pink Floyd and Mike Oldfield and so many others. They wanted to write to the size of the container. Now, we still maintained our liking for 3 and 4 minute songs. That was perpetuated by the 7-inch single, which was introduced by RCA Records in 1949 as a response to the 12-inch album. And radio really embraced this. It was cheap, it was easy to use, it was easy to distribute. So our demands for 3 and 4 minute songs was kept alive by the single. Now, a single like this could hold up to 5 minutes. Well, actually, it could hold longer than that, but audio quality begins to degrade after 5 minutes. So we didn't put more than 5 minutes worth of music on one of these records. Not very often, anyway. We had other containers in the 1960s. We had the cassette, which was invented by a Dutch company called Philips. We had the 8-track, which was invented by, was it somebody wooed the 8-track? Okay. And then we had reel-to-reel tape. Now, you could buy pre-recorded records, pre-recorded music on all 3 formats, but they, nobody really messed too much with that long capacity of the LP. They didn't fill these containers to the brim. But then comes along the compact disc, 1982 and into early 1983. We stopped talking about a rotating disc that had a spiral that was 500 meters long, and we began talking about a plastic disc that contained megabytes of information. The CD was developed by Philips of the Netherlands and Sony of Japan. Philips wanted the CD to be 10 centimeters in diameter, but Sony wanted it to be 11.5 centimeters in diameter. So they had compromise, and they made it 12 centimeters in diameter. And if you do the math and all the geometry and you figure out exactly how you place the binary code on the CDs using the standards set out by Sony and by Philips, you get 74 minutes worth of music. It's as boring as that. People began to fill this container to the brim. You had so much more music on a CD than you did on an album. Here's the worst offender. This is the Red Hot Chili Peppers 1991 album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Yeah, you can do that, that's fine. This record has 73 minutes and 55 seconds worth of music on it. So 5 seconds short of the ultimate capacity of the CD. Did it need to have that much music on it? Have you heard this record? Not necessarily. But, again, we filled the available container. Then we get to the internet. On March the 14th of this year, which is also affectionately known as Pi Day, 3.14, right? A guy in New Mexico posted this. He calls it Shepherd's Pie. And what he did was take pi, the mathematical concept, and extend it to 1 billion digits. Then he taught an artificial intelligence music program to base music on those 1 billion digits. So Shepherd's Pie, in its entirety, is 999,999 days long. It's 114 years. There's no container. It can be as big as it wants to be. And this brings me to streaming. Here's where the rant is going to begin. Now, don't get me wrong. I love streaming. I think streaming is wonderfully convenient. The idea of having 50 million songs on a device maybe that big, it is just so cool. The entirety of human musical history on this, wherever you are. Awesome. However, there have been some changes in our behavior when it comes to accessing and consuming music as a result of streaming. Let's just talk about physical containers again. When you bought a record, CD or vinyl, doesn't matter, you had to work for a certain amount of time before you earned enough money so you could actually go and buy one of these things, right? And then you would take it home and you would listen to it over and over and over again, even to the songs you didn't like. Because if you made up your mind that you didn't like a song on an album, well, it was kind of like you wasted your money a little bit, right? So you would listen to these songs over and over again until the penny drops and you go, yes, okay, fine, I like it, that's one thing. The other thing was that the record, the container, had additional resources. There was artwork that you could study. There were liner notes. There were lyric sheets. This was all really cool. So you had this financial investment in the container and what was on it, and you had this intellectual investment in the container based on what you could divine from it. Streaming, not so much. It is context-free music that goes in one ear and out the other. There is nobody to tell you why that song is important, what's cool about this band, who is behind this album, where is this scene building, and what is this sound all about. You don't hear any of that. It's in one ear and out the other. I call it organized noise. And again, don't get me wrong, it's here to stay, love it a lot, but for a rich music experience, it's kind of lacking a little bit. The other thing that we need to talk about are some really frightening numbers. There is a company behind Spotify called the Echo Nest, and the Echo Nest is forever parsing data from users. They know exactly how we listen to music, how often we listen to music, and how we skip music. This is really important. I'm going to give you these numbers. If a song comes on and you're listening on Spotify, there is a 24% chance that you will skip that song in the first 5 seconds. There is a 29% chance that you will skip that song in the first 10 seconds. And there is a 35% chance that you will skip that song before 30 seconds have passed. Now, this is a really important concept. No one gets paid for a stream unless it runs for at least 30 seconds. So, producers and composers and songwriters and record labels are throwing everything they can at that first 30 seconds to make sure we, with our short attention spans, hang on to that song for at least 31 seconds. Let's go a little bit further. If you look at the Billboard Hot 100, and you go back to 2000, the average length of a hit single was 4 minutes. There were no songs under 2.5 minutes. Today, the average length of a song on the Hot 100 is 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so a decline of 30 seconds. And the number of songs under 2.5 minutes has increased by 8% over just the last 3 years. The reason these songs are getting shorter is because artists and producers and engineers are looking at the data and they see, oh, okay, a shorter song seems to indicate that people will skip less. There's a greater chance of us getting to that 30 seconds with shorter songs. And with a shorter song, we can have more shorter songs after that on a playlist so that the 30-second mark comes up much more quickly. Now, let's think about this if you're a prog rock band, all right? And you specialize in songs that are 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long. You are going to get paid exactly the same amount for a 10-minute rock and roll epic than somebody who writes a song that's 2 minutes long. So you might think, as an artist, why bother writing a song that long? I'm not saying you won't do it, but if your album has 5, 10-minute songs on it, you have a chance to score that 30-second mark 5 times. But consider a band like the Pocket Gods. They're from the UK. They understand how things work. They released an album called 300 by 30. And what that is 298 songs, each less than 45 seconds long. And the idea is, put it on, and that 30-second mark comes up an awful lot. And that's where they make their streaming money. I'll give you another example. There's a band called Wolfpack, very clever. They needed some money, so they released an album that had 10 tracks on it. Each track was 32 seconds long, and each track was dead silent. There was no audio on it whatsoever. So they told their fans, put this on when you go to bed. Put it on repeat. And every time it went past, what happened? They got paid. And they made $20,000 until Spotify called them and said, cut it out. Again, gaming the system. It's all about the container. If the container is nowhere, well, then look what can possibly happen. The last thing I want to talk about is away from streaming and into headphone culture. How many people walk around like a zombie with headphones on, right? You seal yourself off in your little private bubble of music so you don't have to deal with other human beings, right? Okay. This all began 40 years ago this coming Monday. What happened 40 years ago this coming Monday? Anybody know? Sony Walkman was released, the very first Sony Walkman. And again, we go back to the president of Sony Music, and he demanded that the Sony Walkman include 2 headphone jacks because he couldn't imagine people walking around like zombies, sealing themselves off from the rest of the world. That lasted for 1 iteration of the Walkman. They went to the 1 headphone jack. But the thing that made the Sony Walkman cool was, okay, the cassette mechanism was small, but for the first time ever, you had lightweight, good-sounding headphones. In the back of the 70s, I had a pair of Koss headphones, and they weighed 6 pounds. That's not an exaggeration. 6 pounds. But the Sony Walkman were really light, and you could wear them anywhere, and they sounded really good. So as time went on, we became addicted to this idea of being able to curate our own little music space. And that has had an undesirable side effect. There's something known as ego casting. And ego casting means you are only predisposed to listening to things or absorbing things that you already agree with. This is part of the problem with the Spotify algorithm or the algorithm used by any of the other streaming music services. They recommend music that they think you will like based on what you've already listened to. So it doesn't really work that hard into getting you outside of your musical comfort zone. There are times where you need repeated, unintentional exposure to a type of music before the penny drops and you go, oh, okay, I get it. And I'll give you an example. Modern jazz. Nobody likes modern jazz the first time they hear it because it's so complex. The backstories are so deep. The musicianship is just way out there. You need somebody to either take you by the hand and explain what Miles Davis or John Coltrane is doing here, or you need to be exposed to it in an office someplace, played over and over and over again before you go, I get it, this is great, give me more. The other side effect from ego casting is that it's spilled over into all media. So if we can control only the music that we like to hear, it's not a very far step before we start controlling only the news we want to hear. So what a surprise, fake news is a problem. And that is what I think is an offshoot of walking around like a zombie with your Sony Walkman in 1979. So in conclusion here, what I would like you to do is remember that there's only really one container that matters, this. We have, from what we understand, an infinite database of music in our heads, in our skulls. But there are people who are trying to game us neurologically. So they get prime placement in your container so they can make money, so they can make a career, so they can make music for everybody else. So here is what I'm going to ask you to do, and I want you to take this away and think about it. When you listen to music, try to see if they're manipulating you into sticking around for that 30 seconds. If they are, you can choose to listen to 30 seconds and move on, or not. But I really hope that you can avoid the skip button. Live in the music. Listen carefully. And hopefully, maybe, by giving yourself that extra bit of time with something that may be unfamiliar, that may be different, that your life will be made richer by the music. Beware what they want you to put into this container, because it's the only one that matters. Thank you very much.
That guy, I'm telling you, make sure you guys follow this guy. I mean, I'm serious. Make sure you guys definitely follow him. You just saw you just seen his information. So, he knows the music business. That's what it's about. You want to be connected with the right people to understand what's going on. But let's keep going. There's a lot going on. The game is changing. And is rap dead or is music dead? Meaning the music industry as we knew it. Or is it rap? But it's changed. And it hasn't changed for the better. I'll tell you that. It's changed. Anyone that says it hasn't, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, man. And that's a good cocktail mix right there. Eggnog and Captain Morgan, spicy rum. Just traditional old school spicy rum from Captain Morgan. What brand is it? Is that just the brand name, Captain Morgan? Right there, see? My take is make sure you get yourself some Captain Morgan spicy rum and mix it with eggnog. Throw in some ice cubes, and you can throw in Ice Cube, the music, his music too if you want, man. But just put some ice cubes in with some eggnog, some spicy rum, and man, it's good. It's pretty good. I like it. It's not a bad drink. I recommend it. If you want a holiday drink, I would not recommend this, in July or unless you like eggnog year round. And I'm having a hard time talking right now for some reason. I don't know why, man. It's cold as fuck outside, but it's hot in here. Why don't you fucking turn? It's like 74 in here, man. Can you turn down the heat? It's pretty hot, but the music, the music industry is changing, you guys. It really is. And personally, I think it's a good thing. I'm happy about what's happening. Remember that movie, Purge?
Yeah, again.
But let's keep going. That just kind of sums it up, though. A little bit of where I'm going with all this. But yeah, things are changing. By the way, do you guys like my my new Christmas tree? I didn't like the one I had last week, and yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever the fuck you celebrate, man. Yeah, I don't even know what Hanukkah is, to be honest with you. I guess they have like a bunch of different Christmases or something. Anyways, but yeah, I just, traditional Merry Christmas, man. Keep it simple. Keep it, I remember when I first realized that, that fat motherfucker was not real. And it's funny. I learned I was watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Can you throw up the clip I sent you?
Hello, boys and girls. Christmas is a special time in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Now there's Lou Ferrigno getting in the makeup chair.
So I was watching that. That's when I figured it all out. When I saw that Incredible Hulk was fake.
But I was glad to show my television friends that, because it's important to realize that people just don't change shape and change color. That's all just sort of movie business, isn't it?
Oh, speaking of makeup.
I was like, wait a minute. It's funny. First thing I went to was Easter Bunny. Then I was like, that means the Easter Bunny's fake. That means Santa Claus is fake. That means everybody's been fucking lying to me, man. What the fuck? That's all that went through my head. I felt like everybody's been deceitful my whole life to me. That was my take at that time. But you know what? I'm glad they were deceitful. And I think if any kid can have those type of moments, give it to them. Let them have it. Let them fantasize. Let them just be wishful thinking, right? That's kind of what the music business is, if you really look at it. That's why all this kind of intertwines in a weird way, right? The music business is kind of fucked up, you guys. And I'm kind of glad it's being purged right now. So basically, let's just jump into what some of the problem is. There's too many rappers, man. There's way too many rappers. When rap first started, I mean, there was handfuls of rappers, you know, and you know, every now and then there'd be a white one here, white one there, and a female here, a female there. Now you literally have hundreds of female rappers, hundreds, if not a couple thousand white rappers. Every nationality has like 100 of them, except probably like Asian, man, huh? I don't know. I got to look deep into that. I think there's a good handful of them though, man. Or if you go over, you know, to overseas, you know, where they are, like if you go to my hip hop locator, you'll see, man, there's a bunch of them over there, like in Japan and, you know, South Korea. I'm sure North Korea got some, but you know, they're not going to, you know, they're probably, you know, over there, you know, doing some funny style raps. I need to get into that. But we really should keep going onto this, keep on to topic, right? We're falling off topic here, but that's what these things are about, right? Just fall off topic, talk about nothing. Who gives a fuck, right? So what's the answer? Music will never die, you guys. You guys remember when the pandemic hit? That's when recording artists really realized how much they actually relied on touring. That's when they got it. That's when they realized that, man, I don't make that much on royalties or streams. The fuck? That's when they really got it. That's when they really understood, like, man, I don't really make a lot of money. And this isn't good. I have to tour. And when I tour, I get to have a store.
Just last month, it was reported that Mr. Hot in Here himself, Nelly, had sold half of his music catalog for a cool $50 million. And just a few months ago, back in May to be exact, news broke that producer Metro Boomin, the man behind hit songs by the Migos, Post Malone, The Weeknd, Future, and so many more, sold a portion of his catalog to Shamrock Capital for close to $70 million. And speaking of Future, the iconic Atlanta rapper and baby daddy to one of Sierra's children, made the move and sold a portion of his catalog for $75 million. Also, West Coast legend Mr. D.R.E. himself, Dr. Dre, a founding member of the group that introduced gangster rap to the world, NWA, and the man responsible for the careers of Snoop Dogg and Eminem, took it to the next level and sold a chunk of his musical assets to UMG and Shamrock Capital for a whopping $200 million.
Damn! 200 million? Fuck. Keep in mind his beats by Dre. Remember those? Remember that deal? But seeing this 200 million, you know what it reminded me of, you guys, the other day? I was watching this billionaire right here. This is exactly what it reminded me of right here.
Every time I had sex, I had a child. If I would piss on a rock, there'd be potatoes growing in the morning. So,
what are you doing, man?
I'm very potent. I had to finally get fixed.
No, not that one, man.
Keep going.
The fuck?
I got OJ's Bronco in there.
No.
The Bronco.
There it
Not
is.
that one either, man.
That's what I asked you when I said, what do you have that are unique stuff?
Listen, you know what I just bought? I just bought the Murdoch's, the golf cart from Murdoch, and I got John Bonet's
the other
bicycle.
one. The fuck? What are you doing, dude?
But some of my kids are already past the 100 million. I mean, some of them are already, they're done.
What are you doing?
And they're going to make a lot of money. My kids are 42, 40, 38, 36.
The other one. Fucking idiot, man. Okay, do me a favor real quick. Take off your headset real quick. All right. Okay, now put it right there. Yeah, good look. All right, you're fired. Fuck you. I'm replacing you with AI. Get the fuck out of here. Let's keep going. I got the switches. Don't trip. I got it, guys. Don't trip.
Once you get a certain number, it's the same. I mean, a guy who's got 100 million is leading basically the same life as the guy that's got $1 billion, except for maybe a yacht, or some astronomical house.
Right? It's off topic. Just reminds me of this. Yesterday, I was window shopping. I was in the airport coming back from fucking OKC, and man, I was looking for these headsets, and I saw this old couple talking to the lady, and it was in the store, man, where they rip you off, man. It's one of those electronic stores, high price, but I was just killing time window shopping. And, they were done asking her questions, but it was over by the headsets, the Beats and shit, and I was like, so where's the Beats at? She's like, oh, Beats by Dre. I said, no, just the Beats. She goes, well, yeah, but, Dre, he just sold those off and to Apple. And I was like, actually, he sold them off a while ago, but who cares? But where are they at? She just wanted to keep going into Beats by Dre. I was like, why? And then that couple turned around and they were like, yeah, we really wanted to hear that. We really need to hear that, like being sarcastic, right? And then that's when I realized, oh, shit, I'm in Oklahoma City and these are some racist motherfuckers, and I think that pissed them off, but that's not the point of the story. That's the story I was in right there. The point of the story is I felt like that just now. Why did I even mention Dre or even go into that topic of Dre, right? But point is, how do you not admire Dre if you like rap music? He's done some big shit. He's made some big music. He's big moves. Dre is the real doctor. Real shit. But let's keep watching this, man. So you guys can get my final take. Is rap music dead or is the music industry dead? Which one is it? Which one do you think it is? Or do you think they both are? What's your take gonna be? What's my take gonna be? We'll see. Keep watching, keep staying tuned in right now to Don Rob Flixx, bitch. But that does play into what I think makes sense for some, but not others. Yes.
Well, back in December of 2020, Weezy F Baby Lil Wayne made waves when he not only sold his masters, but also all of Young Money Records' catalog, which included albums by Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga, for just over $100 million.
Damn, that's a lot of money, man. 100 million.
Other Black artists that have sold all or portions of their music catalogs include Chuck D of the iconic rap group Public Enemy, The Dream, Timbaland, Zaytoven, Manny Fresh, Wiz Khalifa, Drake, The Weeknd, Rihanna, and John Legend. But right after the announcement of Nelly's catalog sale, legendary Houston rapper and entrepreneur Slim Thug uploaded a video to Instagram Live where he went on a rant, calling out rappers such as No Limit Boss Master P for selling their master recordings and saying, "We the only dummies that's doing this." That statement, however, is far from the truth, folks. As a matter of fact, of the 166 reported artists that have sold their music catalogs as of the posting of this video, only 26 of those have been Black artists, with 7 of those deceased, which means that their catalogs were actually sold by their estates or whoever acquired them before or after the artist's death.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with selling your shit sometimes, man. ZZ Top, David Bowie, Van Halen. We could just keep going, you guys. List goes on and on and on. Tina Turner. People sell it from the estate, but I can keep going. They just need help, man. And honestly, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? As long as you reinvest it, right? Just be smart with it, or maybe, you're getting old, you're going into your older years, you never got to really cash in as a recording artist yet, and you've been kind of living royalty to royalty and publishing to publishing and getting all these different, avenues, but never really getting the big money. That's the most common thing that happens, you guys. They could use, a 15, 20 year, 25 year quick cash out. Why not?
I know people might get mad at you, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's a lot of things that we used to do. It ain't no money, and it done tapped out. They trying to figure out how to make money off of streams. When Snoop put a post up, say, man, I sold 1 billion streams. I only made this little money. Where the millions at?
I can show you right now. They just sent me some from Spotify where I got 1 billion streams, right? My publisher hit me. I said, break that down. How much money is that? That shit wasn't even $45,000. That's crazy.
We get right. Ain't no money in the streams for us, but it's money in subscriptions for them.
Streaming gotta get their together. Can somebody explain to me how you can get 1 billion streams and not get $1 million?
Exactly.
That don't make sense to me. Because 1 + 1 ain't adding up to 2. That don't add up. Because that's the main gripe with a lot of us artists is that we do major numbers with streams and this, but it don't add up to the money. What is the money? Because some of these artists are streaming millions and millions and millions and millions of streams, and they don't got no millions of dollars in their pocket. So I just wanted to say that.
That's real shit, you guys. It's sad as fuck, man. These artists have all these hits. Where do I think all this is going?
You guys are actually launching your first ever AI-generated artist, Tata.
Well, see, you got to stop saying it's not generated.
Oh, it's not generated.
No.
Yeah. No, so okay. So what's the language we should be using?
So like the language you should be using is AI assistant.
AI assistant, but it is not a human. Tata, right?
An AI artist just signed a $3 million deal with a record label.
Her name is Zania Monet.
Is this the future of music?
Nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially not AI in the creative arts, in which people have worked hard for, trained for, slept on the floor for, got injuries for, worked for their entire lives. I'm sorry. I don't respect it.
Spotify might be replacing your favorite artist with AI ghosts. The band, and this is just one of many, is called The Velvet Sundown. They have over 500,000 monthly listeners, which is absurdly high for not being, real musicians.
They've admitted that it's AI. They changed their bio on Spotify. But still, they have 1.5 million followers. Why are they a verified artist when they're not even human?
Is Spotify actually behind all of this?
So here's what I think is going on. Spotify has allegedly been promoting so-called ghost artists so that it could avoid paying royalties to real artists. The band is now being added to extremely popular playlists next to real artists. Allegedly. I'm done with Spotify.
For something that's non-living, to be able to learn how to do that and it be pretty convincing is kind of alarming. For someone who's a music purist, it feels not right to me. It feels icky to me.
Great point there, though. You can't connect with something that is AI.
Nope, or can you?
1999, global CD sales hit $22 billion. CDs had transformed the music industry into one of the most profitable business models in the world. CD manufacturing cost pennies to make, yet they sold for $15 plus, and 1 decade later, CD sales had dropped by 50%. The entire industry was on its knees as everyone downloaded Metallica albums, hoping it wasn't mislabeled donkey porn, or possibly the other way around. By 2006, Tower Records has closed down all 89 stores after filing for bankruptcy. The decline from boom to bust took just over 5 years. See, the music industry changes when new technology comes along: file sharing, downloading, Spotify, and of course, now AI. Some artists are so dead against anything AI, while others see it as a lazy way of cutting corners. Most people use the phrase, "it's just a tool. What you do with it is what counts." And I agree, but it's also a race to the bottom. Imagine entering a 100-meter sprint race, but everyone else that you are competing against has been doing steroids for years, as well as training. Can you win? Yes. Does it give them a much bigger advantage? Of course it does. So what does everyone do? They do roids to keep up, to make sure that they compete on the playing field. Now, the problem is that as more and more people are using AI, the industry jobs become obsolete. So let's look at what you can do right now, let alone in 2 years' time. AI can already write for you. It can arrange your songs in 10 different ways, 1,000 different ways. It can play every single instrument to the highest level. It can produce in the style of anyone in the world. It can mix and master your song. It can even release your music. It can make content. It can build your website. It can build your funnels. It can run adverts, create photos, music videos, short form, long form. It can actually help with creating from nothing by just writing text. It can do legals, press releases, about sections. They can even talk to people within the comments. People are selfish. If I said to you, do you want to pay $1,000 for an amazing master for your new single, which will take about 2, maybe 3 weeks? Or do you want to have it free in 30 minutes? Do you want to pay a lawyer? Do you want to pay session musicians, etc., 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 etc.? The answer is probably no. We know that in general, people will take the easiest, cheapest route and cut corners that they can do to be validated. But what this means is everyone will use it and everything gets flooded. So therefore, it opens up new opportunities. This isn't about using it or not using it. It's about what can you do different? When everyone goes left, we need to go right. And this is the point. So here's what I think is now more important than ever. Number one, should you use AI? Yes. I personally think you need to enjoy your art, and I'm not a fan of a song being a fully prompt, but at the same point, everyone's different, each to their own.
Yes, I think you should
Number
definitely
two,
use AI too.
connection just became the most valuable commodity. Not how many people see you, but how much more can you look after people than anyone else? This means conversation, it means value, it means entertainment, it means conversation, it means creating for one rather than creating for an audience. Classic record label. Number 3, face-to-face is now a commodity, as that is something that AI cannot replace, not yet.
Live
performances,
shows,
gigs, meetups, etc. Not screen time, which can always be faked. Number 4, now more than ever, you need to define why you are doing this. Is this for money? Is this for validation? Is this for connection?
Is it a passion?
There are ways for all of these, but they're all different. And they all have different strategies. Now, I truly believe that we have entered the I don't give a shit about people era of music. It's become about narcissism. It's become about selfish outcome. But the winners will be the ones who actually care. And I can promise you this, we live in a time where social media is treated like TV, one-way media. I will do something and I expect you to listen. I expect you to watch. So this is the easiest of wins, an easy win for people who can be bothered.
Final conclusion to all of this. Stay there and I'll let you know. I'll be right back. Don't you want the channel to grow? I mean, don't you? Don't you want it to grow? All right, I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Subscribe to the channel.
And make sure to hit the notification button.
And turn your notifications on. All right, well, you know, hold on. First, well, I got a couple sips going on left here. Maybe I should make another one. Been here a minute though, right? Been here kind of for a while, I think. Hold on a second. So my final conclusion to all of this. At the beginning, I asked you a simple question. Is rap music dying? Is it dead? Is the music industry dead? Or dying? And I said yes to one, no to the other. Here's my honest opinion. Number one, from day one, since the conception of rap, hip-hop, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they've been trying to say that it's a dying genre. And it's a genre that has created its own genres within the genre since the conception. So, I believe the music industry wants you to believe that rap is dying. I believe that the music industry wants you to believe that who they want to be in the top Billboard 100 and 40 and 10. They want you to believe that that is the trend. Now, rap music from day one, unless, you were listening to, these guys, or this. Actually, I mean, this was it, but still, Houdini, but basically, man, from the conception, it never was mainstream. It's never supposed to be mainstream. The best fucking rap music out there was always the underground. That's what it was always about, the underground. I mean, come on, man. So when I hear people talking like this,
I do think, though, hip-hop is in trouble.
I have recently been deleting every rap song from my playlist on Spotify.
When I hear people just blaming it on Spotify, and I was one of those people, saying, Spotify this, Spotify that. But, if you think about it, it could be Apple, it could be, Amazon, it could be Deezer, it could be all these motherfuckers, man. Every one of them. The bottom line is there's internet. It was created. Get used to it. There just needs to be a purge within the rap game. That's it. And it's going to happen, and it is happening. Don't trip. It always happens. But it's happening on a major mass scale now, is what you're witnessing with, the conception of. Now we're not even on the internet topic. Now it's all about, not even SoundCloud, not even, it's about these guys here, DistroKid and all these guys, and home studios, right? So rap started with 2 turntables and a microphone. It should always be 2 turntables and a microphone, and it is 2 turntables and a microphone, but it's no longer just 2 turntables and a microphone. But the beauty of it is, it kind of still is 2 turntables and a microphone. any motherfucker that can write and has that voice and has the heart to go hit the streets and go perform and do what you're supposed to fucking do, you could blow up still. Don't let anybody tell you that rap music's dying, because it's never gonna die. Rap music will never, ever die. Worst case scenario, I mean, you can't even put it in disco category. I mean, the only category you could put rap into is, rock, country, jazz. I hope it never turns into how jazz is, to where we all forget about a lot of the artists, but it never will. It'll never be allowed to. It just won't happen, but it needs to be purged. There's too many. It's too easy, to make some songs. Let's not even talk about TikTok and, IG and all the social media. Who gives a fuck? People want to blame it on all that. You got to learn to adapt. You got to learn to work with it. You have to learn to figure it out, and don't be afraid of AI. If you truly got talent, you can adapt with that AI and you could do some amazing things. I bet you could become, and I don't mean, someone that's a mute in the corner, figuring out how to become something that they never ever could be. I'm talking about someone that really is an artist, someone that's really talented, someone that's gifted and embraces these things, or grows up in this era and has that talent that the Kanye West, like the Ye talent, or Brother Lynch Hung talent, or, we could just keep going, man. Right? But you see my point. Imagine what it's going to be like. I'm looking forward to it. Even though as I'm aging, I'm fading away from this new sound. And I think this new sound is it's just going to constantly evolve, is all that's going to happen. But bottom line, you got to be talented. You got to be a lyricist. You got to have that voice. You got to have that heart. And you got to go out there and hit the streets. And you got to go out there and do some shows. And if you're a lazy motherfucker, you're fucked. But if you're grandfathered in, I think now's a good time to consider some license deals, or, to do something with the catalog. Because motherfuckers want it, and it's treated like gold. It's a lot different than it used to be, and that's probably the answer. That was the last drink I had right there. It's really sad, because there's recording artists out there that never really got to, see millions and millions of dollars all at one time. But, they live good. They make their few $100,000 plus, or 300,000, 200,000, 150,000, whatever they're making. I'm not talking about any particular artist, but they never really get, the 5, 10 million all at one time, and that money pouring in that I was just mentioning on top of it, like everybody else gets to see at a job or whatever. They, there's nothing wrong with considering, if somebody wants to pay you 15 to 25 years of $250,000 plus a year, do the math on it. If you can get 10, 15, $20 million, it might not be a bad idea. But rap's not dying, period. It'll never die. But what is dying, what is changing, and what is very different is the music industry. And it's obvious, they want to own all the catalogs. They want to make deals with everybody and get their catalogs, but they're moving towards more country, more of this, more, just all of it. It's reality. They could control it. And, times change, man. Not everything stays popular for decades. And rap has been in the game, in the mainstream where it was not supposed to be. I want it back in the underground personally, and I want motherfuckers purged. And the music industry, the professional side of it, because of DistroKid and all these guys, and of course, the internet. Yeah, man, they're not the same. It'll never be the same. And I can't wait to see where it's going. I am scared of AI, but embrace AI. Or, I don't know what to say other than Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. And I would, toast with you one time, but I drank all my drinks, so I'm out. You know what? I'll see you in like 2-3 days, man, because I plan to do a few more of these before the end of the year. This one wasn't even about Christmas, but Merry Christmas. I got my Christmas sweater on, my ugly sweater. Again, I'll say it again. Merry Christmas. I said it like 5 or 6 times already, and I'll say it again and again. Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. It's cold as fuck outside, so I gotta get these fucking gloves on before I bounce out, before I go. It's cold. I'm in Northern Cal, but in Northern Cal, man, motherfuckers think it's, hot all the time in California. When you're in Northern Cal, it gets really cold, you guys. It gets fucking cold. So I'm cold. So I got to put little gloves on, but I'm out. Make sure you follow my shit, all right? Over here on Don Rob. And make sure you follow me on the social media, all right? See you guys in a few days.
Get my brother Lynch on shoes, Don.
I will. Point at him again, Lynch. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Don Rob over here at Don Rob Flixx. Some of you know me as the manager of legendary brother Lynch Hung from Made Sick Music, Sick Made Music. But me, I'm Don Rob Flixx. Make sure you tune into my next episode 30. But right now, episode 29 is already out, man. So make sure you tune into episode 29 right now. But make sure you definitely tune into episode 30 so you get the truth and understand why I've made the professional decision to go ahead and 100% focus on my podcast, myself, and I'm going to retire from being an artist manager. I'll see you guys on episode 30. Peace.
What does it matter? Dream of love or dream of life? It's all gonna be the same place when we die.
Sorry, but the music shit isn't paying me. Time to podcast the truth.
We have made contact with him.
Tell him, hey man, I got a favor to ask of you. All right, here's what the favor is. I need you to hurry up